Again, started talking before I pressed record. Good morning. Yes, I did just crawl out of bed, and yes, I do know it's lunchtime. I'm still recovering from the wedding weekend, and I had a social function on Saturday, so I am beyond drained, beyond exhausted. I wouldn't even be able to, I can't put it into words. I've actually taken 2 Panadine this morning just to help me stay asleep. I know some of you might bark at that, but I don't take Panadine every day, and I literally needed to just stay in bed for a bit longer and quiet my head because I'm out of THC oil at the moment. I want to talk about the disability pension for those in Australia specifically. It's something that's in our constitution that if you have permanent disabilities or any disability, you should be able to obtain that in your most vulnerable hours. Now, I have 2, not just 1, 2 definitions of a disability that I live with on a daily basis under the international definition, and one is definitely under the Australian definition, and they are both permanent. There's no one is not a disease, but it affects me in certain ways, and one is an illness that absolutely debilitates me. So I refuse to use my gov, and I don't want to go into why, but it also has to do with the fact that if I keep using it, it encourages digital ID, which I don't really want any part of. And you can say that I've got a digital footprint. Yeah, absolutely I do. Although I take methods to kind of protect myself a little bit, but my license is hard copy, it's not digital, and I would fight against getting a digital copy of my driver's license, for example. So I have hard copy IDs in that respect. Digital footprint and digital ID are different, if you want to nitpick, which I do. But aside from that, it's also run by Services Australia, which is not Centrelink, and Services Australia are a private corporation. So also, I don't really want to deal with them. But in saying that, besides all of that, I looked online the other week about applying for it. So there was a new thing that you had to do if you wanted to apply for disability pension, which was to get some kind of assessment from an independent party, whatever. Now, I've been sick for 30 years. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, I know I was diagnosed when my youngest was 6 months old, and she's in her late 20s, or mid to late 20s. So I've been sick, and I was sick longer than that, but that's when I was diagnosed. Yet I've worked since the age of 14. So there's 2 things to this. There's one, how the difficulty of applying for it. And the second part is that why is my husband's income required? Now, I have asked 4 times of the government directly where it states in the Constitution or the legal reasoning of why my partner's income needs to be included. Now, I had a conversation when I was actually trying to get carers to look after my mum, and this is a bee in my bonnet, because if I had been able to get the carers and look after my mum, maybe my mum would still be around, I don't know. But looking at a photo of her yesterday in June 21, and she died in July 22, it's just, it upsets me because she literally went from 100 to 0. Not that she was fully healthy in 21, but she was bright, she was drinking Moscato, she was talking. So anyway, went off topic. So carers, and then they said to me, I asked why I needed to provide my business income, my husband's income. And they said, oh, because we could be Kerry Packer. Now, if I was Kerry Packer, I wouldn't be going to the government for assistance because I don't need that kind of money. So one absolute ridiculous statement, and I actually put a complaint in, and it got dealt with, but not acceptable. So for anyone that would say the same thing to me, I'm not going to the government for assistance. If we had a lot more money than what we did, we do. We're not struggling as some, and we've already gone through what some people are going through at the moment. We've already been there, done that through 2007, 8, 9. So I actually know what people are going through with regards to that. So we live fairly modestly. My husband does earn the income, and his business is his income. So it's not like he pays himself a great wage and then he has a business income on the side. No, it's not how it works at all. So disability is for those that have a disability. Disability pension is for those that have a disability and are vulnerable and just, I can't work, and I literally can't. Like, I was led astray by a YouTuber by the name of Rockstar, American based. My husband found it because he just wanted me to maybe see if I could do something from home. And she gave all of these jobs, 26 jobs or something, that you could do outside of the US. And I looked at about 10 of them, and none of them you could do outside of the US, even though they were all at home. None of them were available outside the US. So, just hate getting scammed, hate people being dishonest, just hate all of that. So he left a comment on her YouTube, which hopefully she gets and corrects herself. Because you really should be doing your research before you give that information to people, especially vulnerable people who think, oh, this is a great opportunity, I'm going to have a look at it. So guys, if you do hear this stuff, just do your research and make sure it's legitimate before you send all your details. Because I did send my detail to one of them, but I don't like, nothing too serious, but let's just keep an eye on that. Like, I never send my bank details or anything like that. That's nothing that personal. So the disability pension is for those on a disability or that have a disability and literally can't work. Now, this is a bit of an issue because my mum was on disability. She got it. She was on it for a long time before she had permanent disability because she had a slip disc and a broken vertebrae, and she also had brain trauma, brain injury, acquired brain injury. So she was on the disability, and people used to have a go at me as a child and say, oh, my mum saw her walking around the shopping centre, or my mum saw her do this, or my mum saw... So what? Just because you have a disability doesn't mean you can't actually do things. What it means is that you can't sit down long enough and concentrate and work, or you can't go out every day. Like, that's me. Like, I can be stuck at home for months because I can't move, and then I'll go out. So I'd have the same thing said about me, but it doesn't mean my disability's turned off. It just means I might be having a good day, or I've made the effort to go out. Sorry, an email just popped up. So if you're going through the same thing, just don't go through Services Australia. Write to Bill Shorten and the Attorney General, because Bill Shorten is the overseer for Services Australia, and the Attorney General also is an assistant in these matters. Now, I have given them a timeline to respond, and if they don't respond, then I'm going to take it further, because this is something that we are entitled to have when we get into these positions. It's not something that they can just play God with and say, oh, but we want you to do this or we want you to do that. No, provide me the reason and the explanation of why you want me to do this and that, and then I'll work around that. But yeah, it's just a joke now. Like, in this country, to obtain, if you can speak well, and you can communicate well, then you've literally got fat chance of getting any assistance from the government. So like I said, this is just from a personal perspective. And if anybody is going through the same, hopefully this resonates. And hopefully I'm going through a block this week and I'll do a happy video. Have a good day. Thank you for following. Thank you for listening. Bye.